Reading Rocket!
Disney Pixar Inside Out 2, the Junior Novelization, Chapter 16. The emotions had positioned the dynamite under the cliff's edge at a weak spot. If their plan worked, the support would give way. Joy walked the detonator away from the dynamite. She looked at her friends. If they were successful, an avalanche of memory spheres would come crashing down. At least she hoped so. Wait a minute. Hold on, Joy. We're going to blow up this cliff? Asked Disgust. Yeah, replied Joy. And then we'll ride an avalanche of bad memories back to headquarters? Asked Disgust. Yeah. Okay. So how do we keep the bad memories from forming bad beliefs? Disgust asked. I don't know, replied Joy. It was a chance they'd have to take. Okay, said Disgust after a pause. Ready? Joy asked, holding the sense of self. Here we come, Riley, said Fear. The emotions detonated the dynamite and the cliff crumbled. Memory spheres cascaded down, rolling into the canyon below. The flood of memories swept the emotions off their feet. It funneled into the sarcasm, then rolled on, tumbling at top speed through Riley's mind. The emotions struggled to stay on top of the memory spheres. The speed intensified like a raging river, and Joy was soon sucked under the memory spheres, gasping for a breath. She tried to push through the crushing ceiling of memories, but it was no use. Meanwhile, Riley chased down the hockey puck and stole it from another player. Riley took her shot at the goal, but Bree blocked it. When Riley got the puck again, she drove it toward the goal. This was one in the bag. Riley took her shot, and Bree blocked it again. Anxiety insisted that Riley would get the next one, but the next one never came. Every time Riley got the puck, she tried to score, and over she missed. Anxiety hoped Coach didn't notice. In headquarters, the mood had shifted. The emotions all watched Riley's drop in performance uneasily, but Anxiety wasn't ready to give up her plan. Anxiety crouched at the console. Sweat beaded on her brow as her hands flew all over the panel. You have to score, she shouted. Riley saw her opening. When another player faltered, Riley stole the puck away and tore it down the ice. Grace swooped in to block her, but with Anxiety driving, all Riley could think about was scoring her third goal. She shouldered Grace aside hard, sending her friend sliding across the ice into the boards. In headquarters, all the emotions gasped. Riley took the shot, but Bree blocked it. Riley skated to a stop, panting. Only then did she turn and see Grace on the ground. Anderson! Coach Roberts bellowed. Penalty box! 2 minutes! No! Anxiety hit her head on the console. Riley skated off to the penalty box, her heart sinking. 2 minutes? How would she score now? When she saw the other players helping Grace off the ice, she felt even worse. We hurt Grace, said Envy. It all happened so fast. I didn't even see her, Anxiety explained. Suddenly, Joy felt a rush of air on her face. She frantically gasped for a breath. Blinking her eyes, she saw that they made it to the belief system. Joy crawled on shore, pulled to safety by a sputtering anger, fear, and disgust. They watched as one of the bad memories took root in the belief system. What? No! Ugh, come on! Joy shouted. There was no time to waste. Joy and the other emotions ran for the elevator. They had to help Riley. Time was moving slowly as Riley sat in the penalty box. She watched the clock chomping on her mouthguard as she counted down the seconds. In her mind, Anxiety's voice had grown so loud it was all she could hear. Riley began to hyperventilate. Come on, Riley, get it together, she muttered to herself. The other emotions shared looks of concern and doubt as Anxiety spun around the console. They looked at the new sense of self. Come on, Riley, get it together, yelled Anxiety. Riley clenched her chest. She curled up in a ball on the ground. How had she let herself get a penalty during the most important game of her life? "You have to score, Riley, or this will have all been for nothing," Anxiety shouted, continuing to spin around the console. Soon a whirlwind of anxiety formed, pushing away the other emotions. The other emotions couldn't stand there and watch anymore. They had to intervene. "Anxiety, you're putting too much pressure on her," Envy pleaded. She tried to reach the console, but she was flung back. She crashed into Sadness. Anxiety hid behind the console, overwhelmed, but she continued to drive. Sadness and the other emotions walked over to the sense of self and tried to pull it out. In the penalty box, Riley was having a full-blown panic attack. "Okay, let's take a breather," Coach called. Anxiety's spiral continued to intensify, maintaining a barrier around the console. Joy and the other emotions stepped off the elevator into headquarters and took in the awful scene. They were immediately blown back by the whirlwind of distress around Anxiety and the console. They saw Sadness, envy, ennui, and embarrassment trying to pull out Anxiety's sense of self. Joy clutched the original sense of self. "Joy, help!" Sadness called. Joy, disgust, anger, and fear struggled to move against the intense winds. When they reached Anxiety's sense of self, they tried to help the others pull it out. "It's not working," Disgust shouted. "It's Anxiety. Get her off the console, Joy," said Sadness. Joy looked to Anxiety at the console. She tried to move toward her, but was blown back. The storm was too strong. Suddenly, Joy felt the hands of the old and new emotions pushing her forward. When Joy finally broke through Anxiety's whirlwind, it was eerily quiet. Anxiety stood frozen at the console. Her body seemed to appear and disappear like a glitchy video. Joy took a breath and turned to her. "Anxiety, you don't get to decide who Riley is. Let her go." Anxiety didn't move. "Let go. You need to let her go," said Joy. The energy around Anxiety intensified, and then she released the controls. Joy grabbed Anxiety and pulled her out of the storm. The emotions heaved, finally yanking Anxiety's sense of self out. Joy put Riley's original sense of self back in, but nothing happened. Riley was still having her panic attack, and the whirlwind was still in full force at the console. Anxiety was exhausted. "Joy, I'm sorry. I was just trying to protect her. But you're right. We don't get to define who Riley is," she whispered. That was it. Joy had been doing the same thing as Anxiety. She looked at the broken back of the mind tube. She had discarded so many of Riley's memories, but that wasn't her decision to make. Then she looked at the original sense of self. Joy knew what she needed to do. She walked over to it. Then she pulled with all her might and ripped it out. Riley's breathing began to calm. In the belief system, the discarded memory spheres started to glow, and the new beliefs started to grow. Grow and grow. The new beliefs entwined with the existing roots. Positive memories and imperfect memories were side by side. This was the real Riley, in all her glorious complexity. Suddenly, a giant light shot up from the belief system through the stem of headquarters. A new sense of self was taking shape. The emotions gathered around. What would it say this time? This one was different from the others. Its form kept changing, and each time it seemed to find a shape, it morphed again. The emotions watched, fascinated, as the sense of self continued to change. It was their girl in progress, always changing, always growing. Most of all, it was always herself. It was beautiful. Riley's voice resonated around them. I'm selfish. I'm kind. I'm not good enough. I'm a good person. I need to fit in, but I want to be myself. I'm brave. but I get scared. Success is everything. I make mistakes. I'm nice. I'm mean. I'm a good friend. I'm a terrible friend. I am strong. I am weak. I need help sometimes. Joy wrapped her arms around the new sense of self. The other emotions joined in a big group hug. The storm faded to a breeze. In the penalty box, Riley caught her breath. She started to calm down. Her time in the penalty box was over. She heard the voices of the other girls on the ice and laughter. She heard laughter. "Riley, you okay?" asked Grace while Bree gave her a concerned look. Riley sighed. "Yeah, no," she answered. She searched for the right words, the ones that could convey all that she was feeling. "I was such a jerk to you guys. When you guys told me you were going to a different school, I freaked out, and I'm so sorry. If you don't want to be friends anymore, I get it. But I just really hope that you can forgive me someday." Bree and Grace listened. Then they put their hands out for a fist bump. Riley accepted their gesture. Relief washed over her. "Let's go, ladies," Coach called. "Come on, we've got a game to finish," said Grace. Riley picked up her hockey stick. Bree and Grace skated back to their positions. In headquarters, Sadness noticed yellow particles floating to the console. They were coming from the back of the room where Joy was standing. It was as if Riley were calling out to her. "Joy, Riley wants you," said Sadness. Joy approached. When she placed her hands on the console, it glowed yellow. Riley needed her. At once, a sense of calm came over Riley. She skated back out onto the ice. Riley got the puck and passed it. She wasn't trying to score or win. She was just enjoying her time on the ice, fully connecting to the game she loved. A slow smile spread across her face. Bree, Grace, and all the others cheered on their teammates. Riley playfully hit the puck over to Grace, who caught it, tossing it to Bree. Riley glided around the other players, joyfully circling them. In headquarters, Joy mirrored Riley's movements. It brought her back to Riley's earliest memories of skating, the freedom of gliding across the ice. Joy glowed. Oh, how she loved this girl. She smiled at all the new emotions. Riley did need her. She needed all her emotions.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for regular uploads. If you have a favorite book you'd like read, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Until next time, friends!